Hey, got it. Tell me.
So there's nothing in the code, so that means there's nothing to be spent all over the line. There's no dues or subscriptions?
Or,
Water.
yeah. A lot.
I think what we need to do, we need to take that clock down, make that wall a nice white, and then you can leave this, and you can go right, project it right on the wall.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds great.
And you
Just
don't,
move the clock over here. All right, it's now 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the March 26, 2026 Greensboro Town Council Workshop open. If you would, please join me in saluting the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Miss Cindy, you are home.
Okay. So, presenting the fiscal year 27 budget, I did sit with Public Works and the Police Department to get their wish list. It is on there. I did go through and pull the rate for the property taxes so we could look to see how we could balance this out. So, I first applied those property tax revenue to the Police Department and then to Public Works. And it doesn't leave much left for anywhere else, I can tell you that, if we stick with the budget that they've requested. So it's about 53% for the Police Department and it's 43% for the Public Works. So there is some revenue coming into Town Hall, but it's not going to be enough to cover that. I also have a concern with the enterprise budget. I sat down and we looked at a lot of the figures and what our previous costs are versus what our current costs are, especially with the rise in the electric bills and fuel costs, maintenance, and so we've had to increase that as well. You will notice on the section with the enterprise, I've removed the Goldsboro accounts. I'm not sure why we had a separate budget for Goldsboro, because it's a percentage of the overall operation and maintenance of the wastewater treatment plant. So there wouldn't be any reason for us to have a separate budget for that. We do have a line item strictly for maintenance, repairs, or items that we purchase, like those grinder pumps that we would put in there, and then we should be looking at our rates every year, whether they need to go up or down. And that would be a cost factor that would go directly to Goldsboro in their rate adjustment, actually.
That's the whole end.
Correct. And then, of course, we've got 4 loans, not 3 loans. I don't know if the 4th loan was ever picked up before, but we actually have 4 loans for the wastewater treatment plant. I'm not sure where it was, but it was never incorporated into. So, in presenting this, the list right now, we're looking at
What's the balance on all 4 loans?
the balance on all 4 loans. I'd have to go back and check that. I can give that to you.
And the interest rates?
Yeah, I do. I have all of that. And I can shoot that over to you. I did a spreadsheet with that on there.
Okay.
So I can send that to you. So I took each loan and put it in a spreadsheet and made sure that we list when we start the loan, when it expires, when it comes to term, the interest rate. I know at one point the interest rate changed. It went up like 0.5%. So we had to adjust for that. I don't see where that was adjusted previously.
They weren't fixed interest rate loans?
Something happened in there where it was a rate got changed somewhere down the line. And I did reach out to MDE, and they sent me over the most up-to-date amortization schedule so that we can work off that. So everything's been corrected in our system on that. I do have a spreadsheet though that I'd be more than happy to send out to each one of you so you can see where we are with those 4 loans.
So do we know what those 4 loans were for, the reasons for them?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I can, like I said, that's all
Are
documented.
they all wastewater treatment related?
Yes, they were. The one I think was in question was the one that was out on Boyce Mill Road, but it was for, I guess it was a massive sewer and water leak. And it
They
had,
had, I think they didn't, Bobby, you don't, I don't know all the council, but they had replaced almost all the lines underneath that road
Yes.
in town limits.
correct,
And then repaved the road.
Repaved it all.
Yeah.
correct. So we have that loan, and it was, I never saw where it was incorporated in the previous budgets.
That's how they got that whole road repaved all that because of that.
So
Well, obviously, we've been paying it, or maybe.
we have been, I'm not quite sure how it
Minimal.
was being accounted for. If you go through these, for an example, the first one I have up is the enterprise, and starting at the top. You're going to see where it says budget for 2026, and then the totals, that's the totals that was spent so far in for fiscal year 26, and then the budget for 27. I literally had the girls focusing the last week and a half on making sure that everything was coded properly for fiscal year 26 to make sure we had accurate figures coming in here. And making adjustments on where it should be, if it was the enterprise, how it got split with water and sewer. So you're going to find that the expenses, so up on top, the previous budget for 26 had revenue coming in about $490,000. Year to date right now from March 26 of here and back it up to
July.
March. I took it all the way back so I could get a full year.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd have had to estimate, so I figured I was best trying to
Plus, we
get
still
a...
have a couple months left of this year, but we're never going to meet that 490.
No, but I figured it would show me deposits in a full year cycle instead of trying to estimate. And we've only collected $269,051.86 in water revenue. And it was stated we were going to be collecting $490,000.
So we still got a whole another quarter of water bills.
I incorporated that already in
You
this.
did.
So we've
Okay.
only made $42.20 in revenue off of turning off water?
Yeah. I think that what they've done was broke it down to accommodate. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, some of these things we still have to work out.
I'm saying, I feel like there's a lot of shut-offs and there should be a lot of pieces this year.
So the money that Goldboro owes us, would that go into that 269?
Correct, because we've not received it yet.
So that's roughly 80,000, I guess.
That's sewer, though. It's strictly sewer. It's not water. So when I took,
Yeah, sewer's down here.
yeah, so we're talking about water right now. So when I took the water rates and looked at how many customers we had, and then multiplied that out for a year to get exactly what the water should be, what we should be collecting right now based off what we have, we would generate $354,808 in revenue for water. Last year, for some reason, it was calculated out at $483,500. I don't know where that figure came from.
So we got, what, approximately 800 households? So 800 times the 312.49.
No.
Just the water.
Just the water,
Oh.
just the water.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to break it all down.
That's 92.66, isn't it?
And that's if everybody pays their water
Well,
bills.
and that's the other thing you're calculating on is that whether or not they're
No,
paying.
there's quarters.
Yeah,
4 quarters times 4,
yeah.
296.
Yep.
I think we've got like 826.
Well, we have
I've got a
Ken-
calculation.
Right,
for
yeah.
Kinnaman's too now, because Kinnaman's is adding houses to
And that's something that we can look on, and I did talk to Jamie about that. There's going to be 12 additional houses coming in, but I'm not sure when they're going to start and when they're going to be finished, so we can calculate that in, but that's only 12 houses.
So all the revenue that we've taken in so far this year from those houses that have been built, where did that money go?
It's in here under the totals. It would be split out based off of that.
It's already in here.
Yeah, it could very well be, because this happened, I think, in the beginning, and they've already coded all of the beginning. They're still working on coding some deposits. We had 522 deposits that we had to code as of last Thursday. They've got it down to like 288 right now, that they're still coding to get that. So the accountant dropped it all in QuickBooks, and now they've been in there coding it and doing the breakdown of where it needs to go.
So this could change.
The dollar amount could change of what we took in, yes.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at,
We're never gonna meet the 490, but we get over the
Correct.
300,000,
Well, even, like I said, even if you look at the base revenue, and I'm strictly working off base revenue here, you can't expect there to be an excess, because you don't know what that's gonna be. And you-
Factor in overages.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we kind of can, because I can tell you that we've had about $60,000 a quarter that's been in excess, and that's the money that's been going into the reserve since October. So, but with this, with the calculations that I have, with the number, and I just took the recent billing that we did and calculated it up, the water revenue is $354,808.
But if we run up short this year, the money that we have set aside for the expenses, we can put back into there to help pay that off.
Yes.
Yes, no?
If, we can move some stuff around, yes. And I think this is where my concern is that there was so much of a large amount in some areas, and then you're gonna see that there was large amounts that were not covered. And that's, you don't know about when there's gonna be major repairs, unfortunately.
So the important thing is that the 354 that you're submitting right now is based off the current rates.
Correct.
So we wouldn't have to change the current rates to get to the 354.
No,
And we need to make that work for the.
we have to make that work,
Okay.
yes.
So, do we operate on a fiscal year?
We operate on a fiscal year, yes.
Okay.
July 1st to June 30th.
So
Correct.
these figures are only through February?
No, so what I did was I went back to March the 27th of 2025 and brought it through March 26th of 2026 so I could have a full year, because the rates didn't change
Okay.
in that time frame.
Okay.
Right.
So it worked for me to be able to do that, to pull that money in to see where we were,
Okay.
if you get what I'm saying. Instead of sitting here trying to estimate what the next 3 months are going to be, I don't know what that is, but at least I got a little bit of an idea of what it was last year.
And maybe more if we get any overages, because now we're gonna get into summer season, spring
Correct.
water and lawns and pools, that type of thing, so. Now, that service charge, or the water deposits, that's the 4,200, what's that for, the Kinnamans?
That is,
Okay.
correct.
So that's what.
And that's
follows-
going to be changing too, because as you know, we just passed that
The
new
meter.
ordinance.
Correct.
And then we got that too, where,
So we could be above that 360,
We could.
which would be a plus for us. Right, okay.
yes. I hate to say it, but I'll have a better feeling once we get to July 1st of knowing where we are. It's sad to say that, but I feel like we'll be more caught up, that we'll have better figures.
Well, I think our biggest concern is if we don't want to raise the water rates.
No, absolutely
So
not.
we want to, as long as we're meeting our goal,
Correct.
you know, because I know trash, that doesn't change, because they've got that contract, that stays the same.
What does, and we lose money on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've always,
We don't have to bid that out again until.
next,
No, we've got 3 years, we're on our second year coming
Okay,
up.
I just
So it'll be
wanted to have to
fiscal
do
year
that.
28 that he'll go through, and then, excuse me, we'll have to,
I wasn't getting off track, but I was just.
yeah, no, that's.
And how about our contract for the water and sewer plant? When,
That comes up July the 1st. I've already met with them. I also met with Lindsay. We're not in a position to be able to hire individuals to come in yet. We do have Craig going down there and being taught by Todd.
But it takes, what, 3 years, doesn't it,
It
Brad?
does.
So, he's
Well,
just starting, so.
And there is no other company around locally
Oh, yeah.
that we can get to come in.
but I'm just saying that we need to have a figure from him to be able to plug in here.
It's already,
already in.
I already know what that is.
Right.
Why wasn't their training started at the beginning of the contract?
So,
You can't find it, couldn't find it.
That's why I
That-
couldn't find anybody.
There was also personnel changes, because at one time they were gonna use building.
We've been trying ever since I've been on the council, to find somebody. We just can't find anybody
I can,
that has either the want to or the ability to.
Well, no, I thought, what I'm saying is I thought there was a apprenticeship attached to the contract.
There is,
Okay.
there always has been.
Right.
Still have to find somebody willing to do it.
If we couldn't
Oh,
find somebody,
okay.
then
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Every time we wanted to put somebody in place, they either quit or somebody did something, and then we had to move people around again.
Several times we had people in mind and then they left.
And I can tell you that we put a job ad out and we had people come in. We offered several positions and we didn't take it, so.
Wastewater treatment person's gonna want anywhere
And
from
they were-
120 to 145,000
And isn't it a pretty easy job?
No.
Like, you don't have to babysit the system, right?
But see, you gotta understand, if we hire somebody, the town is responsible for any damages. If that sewer overflows, we have to pay the fines. Right now, Susquehanna has to eat it because they're in control of it.
Yeah, I mean, you get bad weather, a lot of rain,
Right.
your nitrates go up and you can't control that.
Correct.
You can add more chemicals, but
If
you can't
it's
control
colder, if you have a real cold winter like we did, it throws your numbers off. And
it. So the person has to really know what they're doing to try to tweak the
Right.
system to minimize.
And technically, you
Now-
really should have two people.
Now, one thing, yes, because with one person,
You can't be on call 365 days a year.
one thing that I would say, it probably would not be a bad idea to talk to Susquehanna. Craig's got his water license,
Yes.
so maybe we can at least take over that aspect of the contract and save some money.
And as we move along and he's in training, we should be able to cut down on some of that responsibility. And that was part of the meeting that we had, was to continue working with them, but cut certain phases of the contract out to save us money and have our staff take over and do it. So we are working towards that. It's just going to take us.
But if Craig does do that, two things come to my mind. How's that gonna cut you short for Public Works? And then is he gonna want more money for it? Because there's more responsibility, I suspect.
I don't think he'll just be stuck out there the whole time, right? That's what he is now, right?
We slowly transition into
Yeah.
getting him as much out there as possible, so that way that 3 years doesn't turn into 6 years. Because
Right,
it's,
that's what I
it's,
would do.
yeah,
But,
It's a schedule.
but we don't wanna train him to leave and go work somewhere else either.
correct.
So we would have to enter some kind of agreement. If he's working to get his license, then he needs,
Almost have like a contract to say, if we let you stay here and you get a contract for, after the 3 years, you need to work for us for at least 3 years. And
100%.
because that's what Susquehanna does. I mean, they train their people and they can't.
Right.
All right.
And we actually have a very good operator out there. Todd is wonderful. We've had him since. And
He's with Susquehanna?
yes,
Yeah, but all it takes is somebody to offer him a lot more money and he's going somewhere else. So,
he's
It's been a
very
big
big change.
change since he came in. versus
yeah, I know we haven't had the
back then.
complaints like we did before when we were having all the reed beds having to be cleaned because nobody was taking care of them. So that was a big expense.
All right, so what else we got?
So moving forward, there is a decrease in revenue for the water compared to last year. You're getting into the total expenses for sewer. So sewer, sewer, the expenditures for last year were $926,700. We spent over $1,088,000 so far. We've had a lot, as you know, because I've brought things here to get special. Yeah, we've had some issues go wrong. So, we're looking at, and I sat down with Brandon and when we had the meeting with Susquehanna, they gave us a list of things that we needed to make sure that we were building in.
Yeah.
I also had Leslie from Caroline County send me over a list of things that we should be factoring in. So we took all of that into consideration when we did the enterprise budget and come up with the $1,160,000.
Not to throw a wrench in this, but when we had the problem out here at the old sewer treatment plant, weren't we getting fined or we don't know yet? Because that's going to have to be factored in there if we get fined for that too, correct?
Which
Which
one
one was
you
that?
talking about when the
The old pump station, remember when it,
when
they had
when the
back-
weather.
Yeah, when the
Yeah,
weather,
no, we won't get fined on that.
okay.
No, we did
I know there
everything.
was one that was still out there that have we heard about yet, that was from the newer one?
Yeah, you're talking about the one that they got like 3 years. That was back when ProStar was here.
Correct.
Yes.
How did we end up? So it looks like in the 2026 budget, we budgeted $47,000 for the bay restoration fee. We only got almost $20,000. How is that when that gets passed directly to the residents?
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a deposit coding that they're still working
Okay.
through.
Okay.
So like I said, I put what was in there because I wanted to give you something. Some of
Yeah.
these are accurate, but some of them are not going to be accurate just
Okay.
because I think they still have like 288 deposits to code.
Okay.
And hopefully they'll get that done between this time and next
But
week.
you're looking in, taking in almost 20,000 more this year than we did this year.
Because of Kendrick's.
I'm just making.
So I had to give you all something. It's very difficult for me because I'm used to sitting and actually having correct figures.
I get it.
It's been very difficult to make sure I've got these. So I think as we move along through this process, you're gonna see this change, but it's gonna be changing for the better to the point that we're accurate and on point instead of just coming up with figures out of the air.
When do we have to finalize the budget? Are we gonna have final numbers by the time we have to do that?
Yeah, so we have to do it sometime in June because it's got to go into effect July 1st.
But
Okay.
we have to have it, we have to have a public hearing.
Correct.
And it has to be a month.
We have to vote on it in our last meeting.
So I'm hoping that we've got all of April and pretty much most of May to get this done. So I'm hoping, and you all saw the schedule I laid out, and I'm sorry, but I just kind of felt like if we kind of stuck with a good system, we could get through this and have this balanced. And
What is a vacant lot fee? Is that just where there's no structure but there's sewer running?
so there's no
And the
sewer
town
there.
absorbs that cost?
No, there's no sewer there. It's an EDU, so it's a reserve.
Okay.
So they pay a fee to reserve that EDU for future use.
So I think it's relevant to talk about it tonight since we're in a budget conversation, that our last meeting in May is when we're supposed to be ready to vote on it and finalize.
Right.
We have to and have the time to get into all that, we think, for July. I won't be at that meeting and Brandon won't be at that meeting because my grandchildren and his daughter are graduating. So either you all have the meeting without us, or we switch it to like the Wednesday before that
We're
third
gonna
meeting.
switch it. We're gonna switch it.
I just want to make you
Yeah.
all aware.
Mayor's gotta be here.
I don't know if we talked to you about it.
Yeah, we're gonna switch it.
Yeah.
So I mean, May 28th?
See, it's when we would have met, but we probably do, if you want to do it on that Wednesday, we just need to notify people that
Sure.
Wednesday good.
All right, so I want to point something else out to you all. So when I first got here, I started reviewing all the contracts that we had. We had a 15-year contract with USG, and that was for the meters that we purchased. That's an ongoing contract, we're in year 10, we still got 5 years left. That contract really hasn't been fulfilled. We did just have a meeting with USG yesterday.
What does that mean? Can you explain the contract? I don't understand.
So about 10 years ago, we put new meters throughout the
Cindy,
town.
do you have
Water meters.
Yes,
Does anybody want to look at it?
I'll take one.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
2,
It
3,
should be in the drawer.
4, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, above?
I'm good.
So 10 years ago, they had USG come in, and USG set all these meters,
Okay.
okay? We didn't pay upfront for those, they allowed like a
Finance.
finance type thing.
Okay.
When they did that, we were paying like $82,000 a year though, for the first 10 years. It was a lot. And they were supposed to be doing a lot of things that they were not doing. So when I got here, I called a meeting, I sat down with them, I went over everything with them, showed them what they were not doing. So one of the concerns that I had was they only come here once every 3 months. So if we set a meter, it doesn't have an MTU programmed on it because they have to come and do it.
So you have to set the meter?
Yeah, so we do everything. So I'm thinking if we have to do everything, then I need to look at a different program. So the other side of this is, by the time we get done with this contract in 15 years, we're going to pay for $1 million for these meters.
Wow.
Kidding. I asked Brandon to get in contact with Neptune. Neptune is a meter system, they're well known, they're local, right out of Salisbury, to give us a price to replace these meters. The one thing about it is they come in and can replace these meters if they're bad. However, once that 15 years is up, which is the next 5 years, their warranty is done.
See, we questioned that way back before anything about, because they voided their contract because they weren't following through with things. And we asked the lawyer, and she's like, we don't know if we can do anything.
862? 862. That's what it is. Not all of them are on, but we did that. So what we did was we met with them. It's in here as a capital overlay in water.
They're roughly, if you bulk the meters out right there, like $275.
That's including the MTU on top of it. Because I think they're $169 and then there's another 100 and
I just did $1 million divided by 862, and that's $1,160 a meter. Yeah, that service.
what
Yeah.
service we were getting.
Now, can I add?
Go ahead.
So also when they did it, So the town used to go around and read the meters, and that upgrade, they had to put basically like a satellite, like a cell phone
Yeah.
tower to be able to ping off. So it wasn't just the meter itself. The meters, MTUs, and then of course the
Right.
and water. That's the water tower maintenance as well.
And you guys
No,
have
no,
the software
no,
to
no,
read
it's
the
a
meter.
separate contract, for the overtime maintenance. So when we looked at this, I'm thinking we need to look at this now. We've got 5 years left on this contract. We're paying an exorbitant amount of money just to have, by the time we get done the next 5 years, it's another $225,000 we're paying out. And then we have no warranty on the meters anymore.
What's the early termination fee?
I can get out of it now.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Because of lack of them maintaining. So we were like the first or second contract we ever had. So our contract's very old, and they are not,
Fulfilling those.
because it's completely different to what they're offering now. We called Neptune came in. These are, you want to explain those meters versus what we got now? Because it's a little different.
Yeah. So as far as with the meter itself, it's not too much different, except for it would be a new meter, the warranty would start, you get a better warranty. But it offers so much more, it would be less work involved once they're programmed. And literally, you guys can go right into you can pull up your own account and you can see how much water you're actually using.
Then you can see if you had a leak too.
It's got a customer portal
Yep.
that allows you to go in and see exactly what you're using, when you use it. You wouldn't have to.
That would cut back on a lot of
You
these
might even
issues.
be able to set alerts.
Yeah, it does, yes.
Yeah, and if you're out of town, you can actually see. So it's got a lot of perks with it. The biggest thing is the warranty. It's a 20-year warranty
20-year warranty on these.
on these
It
meters.
simplifies
That
everything.
requires switch out all the meters again?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal. It's on
So-
a yoke. It's easy
so-
to do.
Okay, so, all right, so you gotta look at my reasoning behind this and why I presented it. The cost is $360,000. That's gonna get you another 20 years though, instead of 5. If we paid the contract out for the next 5 years, we still gotta pay out $225,000.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely.
With
So-
the warranty.
Right.
And this is a much better company, they're local. If we have any issues, they could be here within an hour. The other people are from Georgia? Georgia, correct? Yeah. And we have to wait for them to come in.
Massachusetts, wherever their guys are at.
Yeah, they're all over, but still.
And then we've had some other issues where we replaced the meter because it went bad, and then they didn't give us a new meter. We're still in negotiations of getting things back that they
Heard
took.
of deficit.
So these are the items that, I can use for,
Leverage.
yes. So I just wanted to put that out there to you because I know you're going to see that amount. That's what that is. And I threw that in because I kind of feel like it's an important factor in moving forward, especially for the next 10 to 15 years, not just 5. So, I don't want to throw too much at you. I think that for me is giving you this, looking at it, and then every time we meet, I can give you updates on where we are, if something needs to change. But I wanted to give you a ballpark of what we're looking at.
So our next meeting is Public Works and Police Department,
Yes,
so you should have everyone
I do.
pretty tight.
I do. So I met with both of them yesterday and sit down and did their budget out. Because most of their budget is pulled from taxes. Let's go to the police department first, because the police department, because they have no revenue coming in, so they've got to work off of our property taxes.
That's what pays everything. the property
Exactly,
tax.
exactly.
Right.
So, I
Bless
sat
you.
down, thank you. I sat down with the chief yesterday, and I will say that I pretty much told him whatever he needed to request it, and then we could then go back in and see what we could do for him. This includes a 4th officer, along with the benefits. It includes additional overtime. I think there was some items we didn't have in there, like postage wasn't in there, so we were able to add a few more items into his budget that was lacking. So at this point,
Is there a plan for replacement of equipment and vehicles?
so that's going to fall under his...
Capital?
Capital outlay.
He's got 61,000 in for capital outlays, and that was for a new vehicle, right? Is that what that was for, the new vehicle? No, I'm
No,
sorry.
No,
Caliber.
It's, Caliber and
Caliber. Yes.
Caliber and something else. What was the other one?
I know it was Caliber. So Caliber is a system that takes him out of a requirement to have a server in his office and puts it in the cloud. It's going to be cost efficient. If we move forward and he's allowed to do that, then I can adjust off some of his other internet costs. Because right now we're paying quite a bit to maintain an in-house server that he has to use. He also has difficulty sometimes logging in. There's a lag time sometimes.
So, to access it from the car, because our reporting system is on the server base as opposed to cloud based, we've had difficulties. We actually had to call IT to come and reset the server. So it makes it a little bit more difficult as opposed to being able to just log in from anywhere. So each officer has their desktop computer that has the remote desktop protocol to be able to log into the server. So you're kind of doing 2 steps to get to your desktop.
So you don't have pet waves or any of those things, cradle points or anything in your car?
We do. So the Cradle Point is our kind of like a Wi-Fi,
Right.
and that allows us to. But in order to see what's on our desktop, we have to do the RDP, remote desktop protocol. And sometimes, I mean, I've been home, trying to work, and then I can't get on. I would wait for an officer, to come in, can restart the computer, or I think recently 2 or 3 times we had to have IT come in and reset the server or do something, and IT has walked the officer through what button to press. Yeah.
So we did incorporate the speed camera funds in here, and the chief and I come up with just an estimate of $9,000 a month to kind of put in here to help defray some costs for safety. Right now, it looks like his budget will be about 53% of the property taxes.
How do they define safety for the use of funds?
So safety, you can utilize for a large portion of things. For example, anything for public safety. So for an example, getting the police department building up to par. We could also use that money to go and buy concrete barriers because it's for safety reasons. So it's not only just for the police, but it could be used for other areas within
Cameras, boat ramp,
Correct.
cameras at the park.
Sidewalk, crosswalk.
Yes, anything like that. And you've got a lot of security and internet stuff that's built in here that could help defray the cost as well, since it's a much needed thing for safety.
I see that the state aid for police is 0.
So the problem we have had is that when we've applied, they've wanted our audits. And unfortunately, we just did send the audits. I think we're getting the old money that was sitting out there from a couple of years ago.
I think it was 2 quarters.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have to have your audits done. I didn't want to put anything in there and not
Until
get
they're
it.
all done, and then we get it.
In the past, as you can see, that money was put in there and we
Never
didn't
got it.
Yeah, there was a large portion we did not get. So I didn't want to build his budget up with having money put in there for revenue that we weren't going to get or couldn't get right yet.
So there weren't any delays or holdups on submission, it was
No.
the
no.
audit.
It's the audit. No, and we've been pretty good about letting them know where we stand, and they have worked with us. I mean, because they could have pretty much said, "You're done. We're not going to give this to you," but they have been great. And then, like I said, as soon as I got the 23 audit, I sent it right over to them, and I said, as soon as you get 24 and 25, send it to us, so that we can. Because I think that only released 1 quarter, and they're still waiting on others to release.
Yeah, it's
the other
usually like
quarter.
5,500 per quarter.
Right.
Um,
So, I think if I know that we're able to get these audits done, then we can factor that in, but right now I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't want to overinflate the revenue that's not there.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
It's always a plus if you have it.
it is,
If it's 0 and you get 10, you're
right.
It's a red, red, yes.
So I think we just increased the payroll for an additional officer to make it a staff of 4. That increased the benefits. I will say this, I'm not quite sure where some of the previous budget figures came from.
Can I ask a question? What
Yeah.
happens if like, well, we know, if there are vacancies in the police department, what happens to the money budgeted? Does it just sit there in the budget? Can it
It
be,
can go to the general fund if it has to.
so it can be?
We would have to bring it back in and have it reallocated, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the payroll, under that, I guess we're talking about officers. So the budgeted figure you have for the coming year is 342, right?
Correct.
And is that, you're gonna give us something that's gonna show us how many officers and salary breakdown for that?
Yeah, it's for 4 officers, it's for a chief and 3 officers.
And the salary breakdown,
And for part-time admin as well,
and the salary breakdown for,
yes.
that'll be forthcoming when you'll have that when we talk to him about it.
Yeah, like I said, that's the next budget meeting.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Yes.
make sure-
So, yes, so
Right.
when I sat with both the chief and with Brandon, I told them, I said, you're gonna have your budget, and then what you need to do is have your little line item on, you know, why we're increasing it or why we're decreasing it, and then we'll have backup to go with that.
So, I guess this kind of goes back to what I've been asking about too. The overall compensation for the benefits, is that going to be in the budget as well? So it'll be their salary plus whatever the benefit costs are?
It'll be aggregated in, yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Because Scott here, it already tells you the retirement benefits,
yeah,
right?
it does.
Yeah.
And health and disability.
And I will say that,
That's for all.
All 4 of them.
Yeah, but you divide it by 4 and it'll tell you pretty much basically.
but that's,
Typically, it's 35%.
okay.
Benefits.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it won't tell you per person, it'll tell you, like, for the
For the
police
department,
department.
Aggregate. yeah,
Correct,
Aggregate.
correct.
So the other thing that I was able to figure out was we were not, I don't know why, but there was this wild percentage of no rhyme or reason of how bills were getting split up into each department. So I sat down and went through and kind of helped calculate realistically what we were doing and how it would be. I don't know where those figures came from. I went back and looked and figure out who set them, whether it was an accountant or, so we went back in and realistically looked at the percentages that were being split across the board and came up with a different system on how that's done. The workers' compensation wasn't being divvied up properly. The retirement wasn't, it was like, nobody was looking at the
Well,
bill.
the salaries weren't even, it seemed like they were being duplicate counted, triplicate counted.
It was, so when you're getting one bill for everybody, you gotta sit and instead of them looking to see what each individual cost, they were just using a percentage system. So it wasn't realistic per department, if you understand what I mean. This is going by actual per department, per employee as an aggregate instead of it just being split up among.
Well, how do you divvy up your salaries in the, and here for admins before, like, if some of it goes to the police, or public works, some of it's general?
Correct.
I mean, really all you can do is a percentage.
It is.
Right.
So I
So
sat down with Public Works, I sat down with Brandon, and we physically went through and figured out roughly the percentage of what they spend on water sewer leaks, on how much they do with Public Works, and, you know, taking into consideration now that we're sending Craig to the wastewater treatment plant now
Right.
for the water. So we factored all of
And the
that
billing,
in.
water billing. and all
I
that.
looked at my, you know, what I do, because people might not think I do anything at the wastewater treatment plant. I actually do a lot in the water and sewer billing. I'm the one that is responsible for getting the permits, for an example. Brandon and I actually spent a couple days going through trying to get that, I guess it was a sludge permit. That last minute we knew we had to get, so
Yeah.
we spent a couple days trying to get all of our figures together and then reaching out to Susquehanna to get figures to get that done. I also look at the billing every quarter to make sure that it looks right, and do we need to make any adjustments with that? As you know, we've found a lot of errors by doing that audit. So taking that in consideration, looking at staff, for an example, Dawn's 100% water and sewer. There's no doubt about it. That's all she does. Julie is probably about 75% because Julie does 25% of the code violations. She does the Facebook page and she does the minutes and pulls everything out from the town hall system. And then
Will
you've
that
got,
change now that Miles is doing code enforcement?
She takes care of the stuff in the office.
Yeah, admin side.
The admin side of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and then you gotta look at Janie. The only portion that Janie has is the permitting and so forth of the property. So that has to do with her knowing and understanding what they need for water and sewer. So we've sat down and calculated this all up. This wasn't just something that was pulled out of the air. We took the time to make sure that the percentages were fairly accurate when we did this.
It's gonna fluctuate too,
It
because there
will.
may be times that you're not as much, but.
It all
There's
works
no right or
out.
wrong.
Right,
answer,
there's no,
really.
right. It is
Are we
a-
gonna
it's a-
see those percentages on the final budget?
Yes, I got a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Again, I've got a spreadsheet for pretty much everything. I got a lot of chicken scratch, and I know you guys know my chicken scratch, but I've got spreadsheets for everything to back up the calculations that I did. And I think every year we need to sit down and look at that because it's gonna change.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, once everything gets, especially with audits, everything, once that's all done, then things will sort of
It will.
even themselves out,
It
because
will.
then, well, Brandon will know about this sludge permit if you have to get one every year, or if
We
it's every
didn't
2
know it.
years. Nobody knew this,
We did not.
There was a
know it.
lot of things that nobody knew,
Mhm.
and that's why the budget was always so screwed up.
Right.
Well, a sludge permit, you actually gotta apply for it a year in advance.
A year in advance.
Right.
Or, you know.
But you didn't know that.
If it wasn't for us meeting with Susquehanna, we wouldn't have known
Right.
that that's, because he asked us for it, and I'm like, and I went back and dug, and when I dug up, I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
We met with them like on February the 16th, and it was due by the 28th.
It's like almost a 30-page permit.
Yeah.
Right. And you gotta make sure everything's,
We had to have a map. I mean,
I get it.
it was a lot, and we couldn't find the one that was done 3 years ago. So, it's a lot to it when you can't go back and look and see what was done previously, so.
Kudos to you, that's all I gotta say.
So like I said, I think, and then general funds, you're gonna get into the general funds, which is the town hall office. Again, looking at the figures that we had and moving forward, our revenue is going down because we're not bringing it in, but I think once they get done coding this might increase. I'll have a better idea probably the next meeting that we have for the budget.
So, before I forget, what tax rate are you basing your figure
On the current tax rate that we've got right now, which is the 68 cents.
on? As long as we don't raise that, we don't have to advertise it.
Now, I will tell you this, I got, one of the commissioners told me that the county rate is getting ready to go down, and it's like 2 cents. So, we'll need to look at that, and I think we just need to factor that into maybe putting that back out to the residents.
And how would we go about doing that?
I have to look into that, so.
You're talking about lowering the constant yield rate?
It's a 2 cents for the county,
Yeah.
and I've not gotten an official letter yet. I was told that, so I'm waiting on the official letter.
But see,
before I-
people bellyached, even when we didn't do it, we kept it. People thought that their rate, and we raised it because their assessments went up.
Right.
And that's what's, they're lowering it, but the assessments are gonna go up again, so it's not really,
Well, you'd be surprised how many people are in homes that don't know how that stuff is set. It's
Correct.
just a matter of educating them.
and some people don't even know this
Well,
goes out of their mortgage, so they don't even pay
The
attention.
county rate doesn't impact the constant yield rate.
It doesn't, it affects the property tax rate here.
Yeah,
Correct.
so it's 98 cents right now, right?
I think it is, yes.
I think the last like 12 years or something.
So they would be paying 2%,
2 cents.
2 cents lower to the county,
96.
but they want us to pass that 2 cents along.
To the residents. Yeah.
How do we do that if they're
He
paying
said-
2 cents less to the county? I don't understand how.
I think we have some say in that, so I'm waiting for the
So either
letter.
we don't change it, and we leave it the way it is,
Well, we don't impact the county tax rate, so I
It
don't.
must be something, because that's what the commissioner
All right.
said.
I don't know how we would, but you can explain it to us when you figure it out.
yeah, that's.
This is all a learning game for all of us.
Yeah, I know, but
But yeah.
we don't have anything to do with the county, so if they lower it, what's that got to do with it? I don't know how we pass that on, but we'll find out. Simple.
So it says state income tax, there's nothing there?
So far, I've not received any state income tax. I'm not quite sure what that is. That was factored in for last year. There's no revenue that's coming for that yet. I don't know what we would collect on a state income tax. So again, it was revenue built in, but it's not there.
why would we?
This is a revenue coming in.
Yeah, that's a revenue,
Yeah,
there's
so
money
that's-
coming in for it.
The state's getting it, why are we?
Unless they pass some of that along.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, like a percentage to the town from the state?
I don't know.
You get the state
Maybe.
highway user fund, but that's
I'll say the only
built
other
in for
state
public
highway
works
user,
for
yeah.
the road work.
But that's totally separate.
That's based on the number of registered vehicles in the town.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Mhm.
As we said.
Well, but you know, we all know what happened last year. And I'm sure we'll get hammered over it when we have the budget hearing with the public. But our previous town manager did a, poor is even probably being
Generous.
polite, yes, job of doing the taxes. And the council went along with what we were being told. We didn't know any different, we're not accountants. So, you keep saying we don't know how this is or how it got there. We don't either. I mean, we went by what we were told, and unfortunately it makes us look
Last,
bad. but-
before that, we were handed 8 different budgets with 8 different figures. Brandon and Lennox, Jeff, we all were handed different budgets.
Every meeting was a different set. We had to start numbering them. That's why this one already said number 1.
Right.
Yeah, because we take them home and they all get none of the other. But
Right.
the numbers were so different from one to the other.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a working document. I don't have a problem with it because I can see where it's going. And it's a lot more user friendly, so thank you for that.
This is, and I can tell you, this comes straight out of QuickBooks.
Yeah,
This is
but,
like
you know, this is a
profit
lot
loss
easier to follow.
schedule from QuickBooks.
Well, my thing is, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about what happened last year, because it's.
I know that,
There's
but
nothing we can do about it.
we can, but what I'm trying to say is that why there's a difference in
I understand,
last year
you're
too.
rationalizing what happened.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah, that's the only thing. I don't,
$749,000.
And you should say that, I'm just talking about, we don't need.
I you know, the other thing we had to factor in this year, of course, is for that comp plan. So that had to
for
be
Peter.
added into, yes. That had to be
But
added.
that really wasn't that expensive. I think it was $3,500.
$35,000.
35, yeah. See,
That had to be added in.
and they're already working on it. It really
Correct.
sounds good.
I think we paid him $2,000.
Are we on the general fund? Did we move on?
Yeah.
Because I know that some of the council have had questions before you came in about, not necessarily the Whoville, but the car show,
It's all been taken out.
the other events.
It's all taken out.
What do you mean taking it out?
So the car show pretty much is self-sufficient. It's really done, I think we just need to make a donation, is all. As far as if you get into it, let me pull it up.
So I have one question in reference to the autism of that.
Mhm.
Last year it was budgeted like 2,500.
It was budgeted for 1,000.
First year, it was 25, then it went to 1,000.
1,000, now it's 250.
Okay, so.
Who changes that? Who can change that without a vote?
So, well, I'm merely giving you what my thoughts are based off of what we paid out. So let me just say this. I have spoke with Cindy and with Christina multiple times and tried to figure out what they need the money for. A lot of the times they get the money. This year, the only thing so far that we have supplied is an insurance policy, which cost us about $250 for us to get a one-day COI. So, you know, I'm only putting out there what we've paid so far to date. And for me, I think we just need to make a donation to these events for them to take it and then spend it the way they want it, instead of them submitting receipts to us for us to reimburse them. You know, the events like the fishing derby, there was $750 in there, and I tried to rational what it is that we're needing. We've put out for donations. We've got a lot of people lined up for that. So I think that we'll be able to raise money for that and not have the town pay for all of it. So, but
I
you
think
can-
what I've heard some of the council people say, and I think I feel probably maybe the same way, is that I look at these as town-sponsored events. This is the Greensboro Fishing Derby, this is the Greensboro Town Autism event, and whatever ones we put out. And I don't have a problem, this is just me, of putting a line item in there to say, $2,000, we're gonna give you autism, whoever committee runs that for, because someone's gonna run it. You got $2,000 to spend. Now, if you can go out and get people to donate money so that we don't have to give you the 2,000. That's fine, we'll spend it somewhere else. But I think that money ought to be there as support for those people that are trying to put those events together, that they know that they don't have to go get all of them.
So, that's great.
Does that make any sense?
It does, and I have no problem with that, but I don't want it to be a town-sponsored event where they have to send the bills into us and we have to reimburse them. I think we
Right.
need to do, that's a lot of work for
It's
us.
not like you just bring your receipts in and cut the check.
And cut the check. It is, but it's better if you're gonna give it to them in a donation and let them spend it. What's the difference other than
Yeah,
Well,
giving
but then
them
you
money?
put them in a position of having to account for
Right.
the money.
So,
And that puts them in a very
Right.
precarious situation, and I like it.
I mean, it's not like we have a whole lot of events either,
No.
that it's not like we have one a month.
We're, you know,
Check and
so
balance.
a lot of
Right.
towns are known for, like, Ridgely's known for their Strawberry Festival, then for the Summerfest thing, and then Greensboro, we're kind of known for the fishing derby and the other things that we do. And I think I'm on both ends of it, so it's easier for me to go out and ask money for a fishing derby, that's the one that I want, because like you do all the, so if I can come up, if we got $2,000, all right, if I can go out and get people to give me money, then I put it in there, it doesn't go in my pocket, it puts me in a very bad position when I ask people for donations. Then they say, well, I gave, Spencer $50 for donation, well, where did it go? I have no way of showing
Right, they're
that.
thinking you took the money and didn't do anything with it. Right.
you all,
But if I bring the money in and give it to, or if I pay for something out of $2,000, I bring in the receipt, you mark it down, and life is good. That's
Treat it
just-
like a petty cash box. You gotta
Yeah,
reconcile
yeah,
it.
I mean, that's good, I don't know, but I think that's how we used to do it.
well, you
I'd
all
like to
tell
see-
me what you wanna put in there and I'll put in there. All I can tell you is last year, or this year, for fiscal year '26, it actually was zero money for autism. Because she put in $1,000 for revenue and $1,000 for expenses, and that zeroed it out. So,
Well, because
Yeah, we were-
what they were
yeah, we
doing
were
was they
told
didn't know what they were doing. We thought that those were gonna be at zero expense. In other words, we're putting $1,000 in there. We're hoping to get donations so that the town doesn't have to pay the $1,000. But if we only get $500 donation, we know we're not gonna get broke because the town's got
So
$1,000.
you take donations at these events, is that how that works? Like, is there a donation box for all the
No,
events?
no,
No,
before.
no, no, they get
Before.
sponsors.
We get sponsors.
so, but you got somebody like me coming in, I'm seeing $1,000 in revenue, and I'm seeing $1,000 in expenses, and to me, that's a wash.
Right, it's a wash.
So, I don't know the back end with
It's
details.
but they shouldn't have put it in there until it was over with. It's a hope to be a wash.
Right.
It
So-
goes in there, in other words, we knew when we went in there that this was hopefully gonna be a wash. We're gonna put in $2,000 expense, but we're hoping to get enough money that it doesn't cost the town anything.
Well, it's
We're
just
gonna
like
pay
the
town-
car show music fest. We have to put some money out because we're paying people to go out and set things up. So we have to figure out that there's a budget to do that. So, and then if we make a profit, it, like you said, it washes that off or it becomes some extra revenue.
He's got his own separate account for that event though.
What we're gonna have to do is set a budget for each event,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll be offset by the donations. So if there's donations, it needs to be reported, if there's donations, yeah.
Right.
They need to be reported to the town, what was brought in donations. That gets knocked.
And at the end of the event, there ought to be an audit to it. It
Yes,
says,
you need to
we had
reconcile.
$2,000 here, we took in this amount of money, this is where it went, or whatever, and we had a plus or a negative.
If we put $1,000 in for autism, and just say I go to my boss and say, hey, you think you donate $1,000? Just make it out to Greensboro. There's a wash. It's even. It's done. It's reconciled, and it's an easy.
People don't want to hand me money, they'd rather
Correct.
write a check to the town of Greensboro Fishing Derby and just like the Lions Club did. They don't want to write a check to David Spangle, they want to write a check to the town of Greensboro Fishing Derby.
But
and
I like that. I think we all need to sit down and say, okay, what are we going to do, and what are we putting in for a budgetary number?
Correct.
So do we give this one $500? Do we do 2,000 or whatever? I mean, and then hopefully it just comes out as a wash.
Now, I know that you are not particularly in favor of having a lot of the employees do the work.
We're not
because-
asking.
Because, I know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that, we might need a little bit of help, but we should be able to find the volunteers to do most of the legwork.
For
It's
as
the
long
money
as it's
part
not on
that we,
the committee.
It's the name.
Huh?
It's the money, but it's also the name. It can't be the Kathy and Cindy show. It's gotta be, we gotta have a sponsor.
town agree.
Right.
Kind of agree.
Oh, and I have no problem with those.
Oh, I know you
And
don't.
that's what I had said.
I know, yeah, and you said even link them all together,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
things, and
Yeah.
then if there is a fall fest or whatever, it can all be linked
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
and have one budget for everything, and then if we don't use all of it,
Right.
you know, so there would be some left over.
Yeah.
No, but we
Okay.
kind of just need that name.
I didn't see it, I went through.
It's not what
Hey.
the
Unless it's
autism
classified as
committee to
something
come
else.
up with a
Yeah,
amount
that's what I would
that
think.
you think is reasonable,
That's where I looked at all of it,
and let us know.
I didn't see it.
Plug in for next.
500? Let us know.
You don't need to-
225, because they've already done the 275.
Right.
So 225 to make the 500.
All right, I'm sorry, I got us off track.
And actually, $500 was built in because it's under events.
Okay.
It's a $500 for all this.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do, okay, got
You
it.
said that.
I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody wanting to donate or put the money in there. I'm just going off of what we have spent. So if you all have recommendations, that's what this is
Well,
about.
then they used to have, like, I know when I first came, when they first started Whoville, they'd reach out to local businesses and get sponsorships and advertise, like, put their names on banners and stuff like that.
Well, it says in there for Whoville, since you're talking about it, it says $15,000. We put that $15,000 in it because we had to start ordering stuff and doing stuff, but we were, the plan was be able to get enough money coming back in through donations and everything from sponsors and people that night, that we might bring in $20,000. So we take that $5,000, save it for next year, you know, so that's why it shows that in there. I don't know why it shows as a wash. That was the idea for it to be a wash.
Yeah, Whoville, they put 15,000 in, and then they had it as expenses as 10,000. So that there would be a $5,000 left.
And that money should be there, 'cause we didn't even do Whoville, so.
It's not there, well, it's built in the budget, I mean,
Well,
it's,
I mean,
you know what I mean? It's-
Right, right.
It's in the general account, not
Yeah,
spent.
but I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. And then, of course, you gotta decide on if you want to give another donation to the Greensboro Volunteer Fire Department. I do know that they have I know I applied for 2 capital grants for them for the new firehouse. I also helped them file for an LBI for $50,000 for equipment. So,
Did we just give them 30,000?
Yeah.
But we give 30,000 every year.
yeah.
We gave
so-
one year, I think we gave, what, 60,000?
No,
We
we
had
had ARPA.
we had ARPA funds.
But
Because that was,
that's because you know, we're required to have it.
Yes.
Right.
Fire department.
I mean, sorry.
So I didn't put anything in there because I wanted to get the council's recommendation on that, because I don't know how much.
well, I mean, they are big
Yeah.
community support, and
Yeah.
they still need to build the firehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need
So-
the fire department, but
I mean,
What would, you want to stick with the 30,000 for that and just give them another 30,000 next year?
I would, just
that's
keep it that way.
2,500 a month.
Right.
And just so you know, supposedly the solar panel people out here gave the Historical Society $25,000.
Really?
What? Larry Porter, I went there as a member of the Historical Society and talked to them and asked them, they wrote a check for $25,000.
Without that,
What?
Supposedly,
Didn't even bat an eye.
They're gonna pay us the back rent.
Well, the first, we don't get any money, after this is all done, we don't get any money the first year, and then it's what,
They put them up,
5,000?
yeah,
No.
close to the apartment.
No, it's like
But just keep it under your
25,000.
hat, 'cause
And it
I'm sure they don't
increases
want
every
to-
year.
Correct.
No, Dave, I think
Go
it,
back and say something.
I thought it was on public record. Someone's out
Oh,
there.
but
It is.
I do like this.
Tell him that.
Hey, it's,
You got
well,
the
let's
one.
get ready to come
It's the
to
ones out here.
Greensboro.
It's not the ones out.
Halo.
oh, Halo.
Halo did,
I'm
not.
surprised they gave anybody anything after we called them.
Well, that was.
He called, I gave him the contact number, and he was able to get it.
Anyway, good news for them.
So the next one is the public works expense.
If they want.
Good.
Solar.
We're moving
Get 'em
on to
up.
public
Get 'em
works.
up.
Moving on to public works. Of course, in here, you've got the trash income coming in, the water tower lease coming in. I do have to look at that. I don't know if that's an accurate figure. So I did find 2 of the contracts. I've not found the 3rd contract yet to substantiate the amount of money coming in. And I got to look to see when they're expiring so we can see if we can renegotiate the rates.
It's okay.
For which,
For
for the water tower,
the water tower.
for all the stuff that's on,
Correct.
because I think Verizon's got something up there. They use
AT&T and
Or spring.
Sprint. I said, they ought to pay more. Of course, you'll pay for it later when you're
66.
So I found two of the contracts, I still have to find a third to see where we are and what the expiration date is on that. Of course, the state highway user fund, that amount is accurate. That is what we're going to be getting for fiscal year '27.
Wow.
And I've already asked Brandon to look at a couple, main,
Brandon's already spent it, you don't need to.
yeah, the roads that really desperately need to be paved in town.
What,
He made a list of roads that should.
water tower leaks anyway?
Yeah.
I don't even
The
understand.
towers on.
Yeah, I know what they are, but what is a leak?
They pay us.
They pay us
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
the cell- yeah,
They
cell
pay us
people.
to have them here?
Cell phone
Yeah.
towers,
to
right?
have it on top.
Cell phone towers?
Yeah, we have 2 of them, right?
We have three. Oh, we have 2 water towers, but we have 3 contracts leasing.
Verizon and I don't know who else.
Verizon, AT&T, and it
Sprint.
was Sprint, I think it was.
Okay.
And then we also have a franchise tax that the general account gets, and that is for a franchise from Comcast, for them to be able to provide that service in town.
And the only one you can get TV is through them.
Correct,
Wait.
correct.
Yeah, it's only for cable,
It's only for cable,
Correct.
not internet.
not internet.
Yeah, yeah, we were able to find that contract.
What's the miscellaneous income for Public Works? How come it went from 2,715, it's up to
Yeah, okay, so that is, there's not a spot in here for the grant money that we got,
Oh,
and I
so,
had to put
okay.
it somewhere because it was on the book.
So we
it's
just
that-
listed as grant money then, right?
Correct, it's from the Chop Tank River project
Okay.
down there.
It's a
We got-
reimbursable,
Yeah.
so it's not,
Yeah.
there's a little bit more money that will be coming in there.
But that's in and out.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. And we'll get that
So
set up.
That's a big difference in that one.
Yes,
I'm like, woo.
that's what that is pretty much to cover that, because it didn't have an expense account, or a revenue account for that.
Where are the
particular-
phone towers? I see the water tower, where are the phone towers?
The phone towers?
Did you say there's
They're on
three?
top of the water tower.
They're on top of the water
Oh, it's
towers.
included in that.
Right there, look at all them things sticking up on top of
Yeah.
the water tower, that's what she's talking about.
That's
And then-
That's where you get your phone service.
Where are the ones that aren't on the water tower? Because you said there's 3 phone towers, but only 2 water towers, so where's the other
No,
one?
Three companies that have water.
Oh, okay.
So like
Okay.
this one over here is solely Verizon.
Okay,
This one over here is Sprint and AT&T.
okay, okay.
Oh, and I sent you something on that. Look at your email. They've got a concern from AT&T.
Yeah, our-
Okay, all right. Just
And I'm not the one that climbed up there and put them up there.
You don't even climb up on a deer stand over there. You
That
know.
that big blue one with, oh, there's artists, oh no.
I mean, there's not a whole lot that has changed with Public Works. There was some increases because it just wasn't balanced last year to provide the necessary revenue needed to take care of it. If you take a look at this, and for an example, the electric was only estimated at 10,000. So far, it was 13,000. But fuel, or the electric and fuel bill.
Salaries, did you put the 2% in that we
Yes.
talked about?
Yes, and I've got that breakdown too.
I asked her to put a 2% COLA, and I don't know what you guys want to do, but
A
that,
2% what?
COLA. for
Cost of
employees.
living.
Yeah,
So that's factored into the number.
yeah. The inflation rate is 2.8%, just so you know. I did look that up, just so I had an idea.
So I'm looking at the electric and fuel Public Works, and last year we budgeted 10, they spent 13, but we're only budgeting 8 this year.
Because
Even with fuel costs going
it's
up
split.
It's gonna be split with
It's a PD.
PD.
with the PD, okay, so it's not
They
split
were,
before.
no,
Okay,
they were getting the full brunt of it,
okay,
because there was nobody down there. They pretty much was taking care of the historical society.
yeah, that's fine.
This mosquito stuff, that's a one-time
That's
spray,
county,
right?
that's county.
And only you have to pay the county?
Yes.
For one time, that much money?
I think
They do
last
it
year they
twice.
came through
Oh, is
2 or
it
3
twice?
times last year.
They do it at like 12 on.
You never even knew they do anything.
No, I've seen them come through like
Oh,
5
yeah,
in the
yeah,
morning when
fog
I'm leaving
machines.
work, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
fog machine.
Yeah, because I had the windows
That is
open,
such
you
a
can see them
waste.
going, you can hear them.
Do we have to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have plenty of mosquitoes.
As soon as it rains, that's done.
Well, you live next to the river, so you ought to have plenty of mosquitoes.
Oh, trust me, and I pay to have my yard sprayed.
Waterfront.
Still get tore up.
The other county.
I think the biggest thing for the public works budget is the capital outlay, and that's for vehicles. I can tell you that those trucks have taken a beating. They have been in the shop more than they've been out. There's been all kinds of issues with them. They are dated, so at some point...
What's the newest one? Didn't we just, dump truck, was that the new one? Yeah.
No, the Dodge, right? 18?
The Dodge is, the,
How many miles got on that Dodge?
60 something.
You got one. We hear you got a truck.
The
That's
dump
what
truck.
the
The dump truck.
year of the truck, it's,
Yeah.
what's it cost me to maintain it?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Cindy's working with Brandon and Lennox to come up with a 5 or 10 year capital outlay.
So how many vehicles would that 145,000 cover?
2.
Your vehicles are bad.
Yeah, like 70,000 for diesel. Yeah.
Ken,
Ford
my
would be-
boss,
What deal you got there in her church?
Yeah.
Brandon, my boss last year was over $1 million in vehicles. He was.
Look, I can tell you, I went, just at sticker prices. I'm like,
Right on.
man, I couldn't get back in the truck quick enough.
Yeah, Mission
I mean,
Pride.
some of these pickup trucks are almost $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not nothing fancy.
It's the same truck it was 20 years ago, it's the
Yeah,
technology.
Correct.
we went into diesel. The Reaper again with Ford.
Put more on them to go up.
I'll see if it has that.
So that's just for public works, that's not including his vehicles in the police department,
Well, we
correct?
got the side by side.
No, that'll be-
Correct.
that'll be next year.
And it's going to be next year.
But
I
we're
like
looking-
talk to chief, yeah.
It's 1 square mile town.
Right.
That's
So
pretty
has a lease
special.
program.
You got
That might be cheaper.
180,000 for sidewalk repairs, but we only spent 38.
Yeah.
That's the,
26 budget.
yeah, that's the highway user.
I didn't have it on 180,000.
That's just what was in the budget.
In the
Yeah.
budget was
Yeah.
180,000
Yeah,
to spend, we've only spent 38,
correct.
so that's a good thing.
And the 151,000 represents the state highway user fund that we are going to get. And we will be paving roads.
So
Well,
how,
I just saw it was projected to be spent, so I didn't know if it was something.
So that'd be another thing we'll have to see, what roads are we going to do?
So, just, I've already reached out to Bramble and got price on all the roads that, for a 5 to 10 year plan, the roads that have not been paved yet. Now, price, the sad thing is, everything's going up, and so the prices will fluctuate a little bit.
Now, let me ask you a question now, and this is going, now, you weren't, I know Brandon was with me, I'm not sure, maybe Pete. When Church Street had that big blow up with the fire hydrant blew up and all that, remember we were talking about the infrastructure having to be fixed before we paved that road.
Yes.
But there was supposed to be some type of grant.
It's $1 million.
There's $1 million.
$1 million go from Sunset to North Main on
Correct.
Church Street. Just to replace the infrastructure and resurface.
But we did half of it, right?
Well, we covered it because.
We covered it, we never
Yeah,
really
never
paved it.
replaced anything underneath.
No, we
No,
didn't
we didn't.
replace,
We
no,
just
we
covered it
only
with
fixed,
blacktop.
we only fixed the area that was.
We just filled in the big pothole. That's all we did. We just blacktopped it to make it smooth so we wouldn't tear up our equipment.
Correct.
No.
We didn't replace any of the infrastructure underneath?
so
No.
The only thing that got replaced was when the fire hydrant
Cindy, for reduction
blew out,
in
the
internet
lateral
and
lines, there
phones,
was like
is
5
that
or
what
6
they do with
houses that
cloud-based
got lateral.
Correct, because I was there when you did
And
it.
the fire hydrant, that's the only,
Because Travis Brady was there and everybody else was in there digging it all up.
Okay. And then when it fell.
But that whole street
electric
was
and
old,
fuel
and needed to
went
be
down
fixed, and we
to-
didn't want to pave it because we needed to
Yeah.
fix the infrastructure. But then there was supposed to be this grant that was coming
Last
in to
year's
help with
budget,
these
10,000, and we
infrastructures.
spent
Have some
over
more tags.
13.
That's because
You got any more-
National
you got any
State's
old
TV,
taps?
so it'll be split between the two.
See it running,
It
get
says
that,
fuel, we need propane.
that other
It's-
side.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, so
Okay.
electric
well,
gas for the
that's on
building
the
itself,
list.
not-
Hopefully,
Okay.
Yeah.
we got
Have gas
I think
in
it's
there,
like
that's just
$110,000
one line item.
right now out of the highway user fund.
Well, now, wait a minute, let's go back to that, because remember when we paved School Street, there wasn't any in the contract that he would, Baldwin was gonna pave it, but then he decided
No,
he was
wait,
gonna pave Cedar Lane.
no, he's paving, Hobbs.
Okay. Well, that ain't a very long street.
That's short. That's the darn shortest
Did
one.
you still have that pole in the middle of the road?
No.
No, that got
How
moved.
long is school?
No.
School Street's longer than Hobbs
School
Street.
goes all the way.
Now-
Hobbs is the one that, on the
Now,
other
the
side.
only good thing is Hobbs is one of the widest streets right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay.
But
Till there's
remember,
cars parking on the other side of it from the houses that are being
yeah,
built.
well, you know, he was only supposed to pay from
Yeah,
Cedar
they did.
to Sunset, so it was only a block
We
that
did.
he was paying. That's
2
why.
blocks.
Cedar.
Bernard, 2 blocks.
Yeah, yeah.
Bernard and Sunset.
But like I said, even when we were talking about having money to pave roads, I mean, yeah, we could pave Church Street, but if we gotta tear it all back up again because we gotta fix any
We said-
infrastructure.
Like, lawn, all that, you shouldn't have to replace any kind of infrastructure underneath there. Wood duct, shouldn't have to replace any. Elm
Not
wood,
now.
shouldn't. Back there,
Mill Street.
Mill Street, on the back side of Mill Street, on the back half. The front half, still gotta have some.
So,
What about Granby Street too?
instead of filling these potholes, can we keep getting any of them metal plates you see that people put down to cover them temporarily until the infrastructure's fixed?
The steel plates, like
Yeah.
in front of La Delizia, you never had that steel plate there before it got knocked out.
Could we do that in lieu of paving?
Them
steel plates are
are a
expensive.
lot more expensive.
Oh, are they?
It's easier, it's literally a lot cheaper to take a cold patch. Now in the summer, spring and summer, when hot mix is going, we can put hot mix in there, which is gonna last a lot longer. The only other thing is, we need to, we'll rent, like this summer, we'll rent a attachment for the skid steer, and we'll actually dig out the pothole and then put hot mix in there. So we'll have to station up a little bit of guns and do it small patches at a time.
But at least we have some money in the pave street.
I'll look at
I just
it.
wouldn't bring that up because it was some of the streets we already had some issues with.
All right, I think everybody's getting tired. Have we tacked this enough, or we got some more we gotta talk about? or-
It's pretty much just covered the important things that are gonna be a huge expense for this.
So the next
budget.
time we be here will be for the police and public works, right?
Correct.
That's it?
Correct, and then like I said, as the fiscal year '26 information is updated, as soon as they post it, it's live. I mean, I could write a report right now, it's probably changed already from the last.
So I'm just curious, what was Tammy's excuse when you did all these different versions? What was your, like, how do you justify that?
If you go buy a case of beer sometime, I'll sit down and I'll tell you.
It's not for this night.
It'll take that long to tell you.
I'm working on it.
I mean, I could tell you.
What's
My
that?
bad, my bad.
Just say, my bad, I'm working on it. My bad, working on it.
I'll get back to you.
I'll get back to you.
We're being recorded, so I don't wanna say everything right now, but I'm just saying that.
I'll tell you about it.
How do you
Man, I do have,
At the coffee.
hey Lennox, I do have to ask you something.
Yes, sir.
You know how they're playing baseball on Cedar now
Yes.
at the park? When you leave Vaughn and you go to the stop sign at Cedar to go to School Street,
Yes.
they're parking on that side behind the back, behind the, you know, fence.
There is there was gravel.
But you can't see. You know what I mean?
Oh,
When you come up
to
to the
turn
stop
out.
sign,
Huh.
they're parking right here along that fence.
Along
Yeah,
that-
there's two parking lots, there's one in the back and there's one in the front.
Yes.
They need to park there, because you had to pull halfway in the road
We take
They
the
used to hit.
put the
Oh,
seat
like
past the
Taylor's.
cars.
like
Yeah.
Taylor's does?
All right.
Yeah.
I will tell the officer to
Just ask them to move and park in the
Yeah.
parking lot. That's it.
Park in the
Because
parking
you
lot.
can't see once you come
Don't
up
park
to the
behind the
fence.
backstop, that's what he's saying.
Right.
got it.
in the wall, can't park 5 feet from the stop sign.
30 feet from the stop sign. Yes.
Does anybody else have anything for the budget, or you wanna?
I need to look it over.
Yeah, we're gonna look it over.
My brain's fried.
then
Well, I
I'll-
can tell you overall, you know, we're lacking 750,000 if we were looking at this.
749.
Yeah,
Yeah.
749, yeah.
You didn't know that? Yeah,
Well, I
it's
think
cutting
that,
somewhere.
I think,
Yeah,
I think that this is a good start. And we'll figure it out as we'll do this. As you get more numbers that are more accurate,
correct.
then we'll understand. And
Yeah,
I
even
certainly
if
have
it
a
is.
lot more confidence that you'll be giving us good information as opposed to what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think that's the most difficult part, is just not having the good figures to run it off of, and I definitely don't want to just estimate something that's not feasible.
So I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? We got,
Aye.
Ten more.